Welcome back to my channel, Sunshine Shoulders. I'm Calvin. Thank y'all so much for stopping by again today. Famous Nigerian DJ humiliated by Philippine immigration authorities. I want to talk a little bit about this. And this is only one side of the story, her story. Very famous Nigerian DJ by the name of DJ Dimple Nipples with over 1 million Instagram followers. I mean, she's famous in her country. Was stopped by immigration and searched, strip searched, interrogated, in her words, humiliated. She accused the Philippine authorities of racism, harassment, and humiliation. And she said, according to the story, she named it My Manila Immigration Nightmare. She talks about the excitement of being hired to come to the Philippines to do a gig. Her and her best friend arrived at immigration. They had everything. They had the proper visas, return tickets, even the sponsorship of the company that hired them to do the gig. But she said it all went left after that. They pulled her over, to customs, went through her luggage, start filming her. She said at one point she looked up, it's like 30 people surrounding them. She's scared to death. She don't know what to expect. And I can feel her on that. This is the reason I'm doing the story, because when I read the story, I was like, wow, I can relate, because I went through the same thing. I wasn't strip searched, but I was interrogated. I was harassed. You can't call it anything but that. That's what my lawyer said, that you were harassed, on some false charges. But they were kept in a detention facility, forced to sleep on the floor. And eventually, they were not allowed into the country and they were deported. This was back in July when the story came out. I don't know, was it her Nigerian passport? Because I'm going to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria has a shaky reputation in the Philippines for drug trafficking. A lot of men from Nigeria and women in Philippine prisons for drug trafficking, love scams. But nobody deserves to be treated like that. But this is one of those you're not at home moments that, unfortunately, far too many people experience when they travel overseas. It's like that one of those welcome to the Philippines moments, because you remember, immigration is the front lines, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, that's why they're so strict. They have to be strict. They're protecting the citizens of the Philippines. It's a lot that goes on over here in other countries that we're not privy to, because we come in here blindfolded. Far too many of us nowadays are just getting on planes and going to these countries. We don't do any due diligence. We don't do any research. We don't know what we're walking into. We don't know the history. We just arrive here. And unfortunately, some of us go through stuff like that. I really feel bad for her. It's all on the news, certainly in Africa. If you, depending on where you are, from what country you're from in Africa, Africans, man, they take it personal. If you mess with one of them, it's like you mess with them all. So y'all see what's going on in Kenya, but the same thing will happen in Nigeria, and it's like a backlash against the Philippines. I don't know, like I said, there is no reply, no response from Philippine authorities that I've been able to find yet to find out what was really going on. Maybe her Nigerian passport raised a red flag. I don't know. Remember, one of the things that a lot of vloggers have warned you about, and it's even been in the news, if you come to immigration, man, and you get into it with the immigration officers, they're going to make a determination right then and there to turn you around. But I like to remind people when you come to foreign countries to shut the fuck up and mind your own business. I don't know the whole story. I'm just going by her story. But I'm saying you no longer enjoy the same rights, protections, and privileges that you do in your home country. Every place you go is going to have their own set of rules, their own way of doing things. And you might get caught up in this web. What about the American that spent 5 years in prison for false allegations of rape? That sort of stuff happens. But my heart goes out to her because I felt her pain. I felt her fear, man. I was surrounded by nothing but women, man. They were grilling me. They treated me like I was guilty. When all it was a false allegation. Somebody sitting at a keyboard sent out some fake charges of exploiting Filipino women and human trafficking. So what happens? I get 5 or 6 women and 1 gay, harassing me. That's all you could call it. That's what my lawyer called it. He called it harassment. This isn't a shot at Philippine authorities, but I want to tell you, I felt her fear, man. I didn't know what was going to happen. I got a daughter over here, remember? And when it happened to me, I had a son over here too. I built a house. I had created a whole new life for myself over here. So when I saw the story, I was like, let me talk about it. Because unfortunately, far too many of us are experiencing stuff like this overseas. That's why it's very important that you be on your best behavior, man, when you come to places like that. You don't know what to expect. Okay, so thank y'all so much for stopping by. My heart goes out to her. Okay? But I haven't heard the other story. I don't know why they did that. That really, other than those 2 experiences of being stopped by immigration and grilled and interrogated, I haven't had any problems over here. When she was talking about racism, I don't know. That's her opinion. Certainly not the racism that I experienced in my home country. But if you're in America, if you're in the Philippines, wherever you are, find your heart to help somebody. Not a day goes by that I don't help somebody over here. Because if I don't know anything else, I know this one thing for sure. When we help other people, we help ourselves. Take care, stay safe, stay out of trouble. I'll see you next time. Don't do anything stupid. Start doing some research on the countries you plan to visit. Do some due diligence. Most people do. We have to stop just getting on planes and traveling to places. And then once you get there, you don't know what you're going to find. This is 2025. This is an age of information. There's no need to do that anymore. If not, you're going to suffer the consequences. We think we're going to be treated the same way as we do in our home countries. And most times you are. You very seldom hear stories like this. That's why I'm talking about it. But go in the description, read her story, My Manila Immigration Nightmare. They don't play, man. We don't know the history. It's a lot of shit that goes on over here long before you even thought about coming to the Philippines. There is human trafficking, sex trafficking, exploitation of women and children, violence, drugs, all kind of stuff that goes on here, just like it goes on everywhere. But you're coming to the Philippines. Remember, wherever human beings are, there's going to be violence, there's going to be corruption, there's going to be murder, mayhem, confusion, scamming. That's who we are. We're human beings, man. Greed. It's going to be all of that. So always remember that when you come here. Shut the fuck up and mind your own business. Shout out to DJ Dimple Nipples. Much continued success. Because she's famous in Nigeria. 1 million Instagram followers, man. It's a lot of people.